our NB Tech Trio YouTube channel or the NB Tech Trio site, probably.
Do you want to record it on here too? Or
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. I think we'll be good. All right. So today our goal is really to get you to understand how your kindergarten students are going to log in. And I have an agenda for today. Let's see. I want to go back to this one. Okay. So for about 10 minutes, we're going to teach you how your students are going to log in. Then for about 20 minutes, we're going to work on how you're going to teach the kids to navigate these Chromebooks. And then next, apps for the Chromebook, how you get apps to the Chromebook that you want your students to use, that process. And then the last 10 minutes, any questions and answers that you have about using the Chromebooks with your students. And Jeff just called Bill Stein. Since a lot of you don't have Chromebooks, we asked if you could take these home with you for the summer so that if you want to take a look and practice them, have this presentation, I think that would be a good idea for you to get familiar with them before you have kids walk in trying to teach the kids. And we're going to practice doing that. And kudos to Jeff here. When I went to him and said, we have to find an easy way to get kindergarten and first grade into Chromebooks. And he's been researching this and working really hard to make this easy for you. Okay, how easy it's going to go. Thank you, Jeff, for your that. Sorry. Lots of phone calls, right?
Yeah. Still a work in progress.
And talk through this. What you have right now is, and this is just me saying that this is just an example, and we can make these for your students. On one side is going to be their QR code, and on the other side, their name really small. And the reason that we put their name really small is we don't want them to think they're typing in their name or doing anything with their name. The most important part is their ID number and then their grade level, but you don't even have to use that if you want. There are two options for logging in. We're going to show you both today.
Question, are you going to provide the plastic and the?
Yes, so we have left over from the 4 Cs in a cabinet. I found like 1,000 of these, and I thought we have to use these for something.
Okay.
And I thought this would be the perfect. So if you want them,
Yes.
if you don't want them, okay, yes, okay, all right, go ahead.
Are you guys all on this screen?
Yes.
All right, let's try it. Click on log in with Clever badges.
So you clicked next first.
Yeah, she got it.
Okay.
Yeah, they were already messed up.
Okay.
And then once you did that, did it bring up your camera?
Yes.
Go ahead and hold your QR code. We're all logging in with the same account too, so hopefully that works.
I know, well, they're happy. Now, where did it take you?
Yeah, this is-
Okay,
Okay.
this is the key part.
Ideally, in the way it should work and the way we hope to get it to work is that when it does that, see, mine brought me to it opens the Chrome browser by default, but it goes to google.com. We want it to go to the Clever portal. That way it boom pulls up Clever. Now you don't have to use any of the Clever apps. If you're using something outside of Clever, you just go to whatever URL, bookmark, whatever you guys want to do. But with so many things being integrated with Clever, that's what we'd like to have pop up. Or Google Classroom, that's another option. I mean, we can really set that to whatever once we get some of the bugs. I'm working with Clever and Google to get some bugs sorted out. But yes, so ideally it'll open to the Clever portal. Then there's already signed into Clever. They click McGraw-Hill, IXL, whatever it is. They're logged in, ready to go. So it bypasses the username, the password, the opening of the browser, the going to the web page, signing into Clever, clicking on their app, kind of bypasses all that for one.
Yes.
Easy workflow. So that's how that's supposed to work. Yeah, we're going to provide these. We don't have them yet. Rosters aren't fully rolled over, and the Clever pause is synced and some other back-end stuff. But by a few weeks before school starts, we should be able to have them.
We have Hank working this summer, and he doesn't go to college. He may not go to college for a while. So he'll help us at the beginning of the year get some of that set up. And Jeff had that working yesterday when I logged in. It took me straight to Clever as the student. And that was perfect because also Eventually, we'd like to show you, maybe even before school starts, you can in Clever, as a teacher, customize what apps appear in Clever. Some of you maybe already know that.
Outside of the ones the district shows, like the district pushes out, it's gonna be there, but you guys can add your own. You can add links, you can add, a couple of certain programs you can add in there for single sign-on, but links, apps, maybe a few other things, bookmark kind of things, so, yeah, it's very, very.
So if it takes them straight to there, then all they have to do is click on whatever you ask them to go to, and it'll make it super easy.
I think you can put a link to your Google Classroom in there to get into that, so.
Okay, now do you wanna, I'd like for them to just try the other way too.
Okay,
To
yeah,
close their lids.
sure, well.
Show what happens when they.
Okay, so this is the bug. So when you close the lid, this is what's not supposed to happen. And then you open it back up, it shows a lock screen like that. Well, you guys, I guess, see it. So ideally, instead of this, it will show the camera again. Or we can have it just go to sleep, meaning they just like move their mouse or hit a key and boom, they're still logged in. For security reasons, it'd be better if it showed the camera to teach those good practices of logging in, logging out and stuff, but either way, it's not supposed to show that where they type in a password. And furthermore, if you do type in the password, which is the number 1, for some reason, it does not take. So that's something that we'll have working, but
So
that's
for
the hang up at the
today,
moment.
like to bypass that for today, if you just go over and hit the sign out, it'll take you back to your original. Next, just gonna go. And so this time what we want you to do is when you hit next, don't just go log in with Clever Badge, do log in with Active Directory.
Yep.
And then you're just gonna use what's on the back of the card. We just wanna show you both options.
And this will just be your students, not you guys teachers. I think we talked about that.
Okay. All right, so before we move on to the next part, how are you feeling about that? You think your kindergarten students, first grade students can get in quickly? Yes. Okay, so yes, and Kelly talked about it will be a process, so that's one thing looking forward. Oops. I don't know why we went back 2%. Some ways that we thought about teaching this, and if you don't want to teach this whole class, which can be crazy, so an idea may get logged in, but I don't think with this. Now, Jeff, I had a question. The first time they log into Google as kindergarten students, are they going to have to set up their Google account?
I believe so, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is a little bit of a process the very first time where they'll have to answer some questions.
Yeah, it's a one-time
Can
thing.
we do that for them before school starts?
Potentially, I'll look into that and let you know, yeah.
Okay. And then
I want to sit down.
one idea might be to set these up as stations, set your Chromebook up as a station, and then, you as a student, you as the teacher be there helping them, or maybe your assistant be there helping them, so that you're not trying to do the whole class at once at that station on logging in for the first time. Or you could ask an older group of students to come down. So maybe you have some 5th graders who are expert tech people that could come down and help you. It is gonna be probably chaotic the first time you try to get them in. Anything with kindergartners the first time is chaotic, but I think once they get the hang of it, it won't be too difficult. So those are some ideas to help you out. Now we're gonna talk about some shortcuts that you can teach them, and then also this may be for some of you, learning some of the shortcuts on Chromebook. So I think it's good to come up with words to call certain things, especially for kindergarten. So calling, like if you want them to go to Google, you can call this the beach ball. I always called it the Simon game. I had to show especially with my 4th or 5th graders what the Simon game was. And then I would say, click on the Simon game. Do you know what Simon is, Hank? Shelby knows what Simon is.
Oh, Simon Says?
Simon in my
Oh.
browser.
Not Simon Says.
Oh, okay.
Do you really?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I was addicted to that as a kid.
Yeah.
Then I like to call this the waffle. You know, when I say, I want you to go to the waffle, I'm talking about up here. So if you want to name this something, but, and then also like Google Classroom, I also call, sometimes when you see the 3 lines, I'll call that the hamburger. I'll say, everybody click on the hamburger. So maybe teaching them what some of those symbols are and naming them so that you're not trying to explain where to go will be helpful. All right, so clicking on something, sometimes you might call that the double click, like the cobra click. So if you wanna click on something, just try that with, I don't know what you can click on, like go to your Gmail maybe. And open that up. So practice, that trackpad will be tricky for kindergarten, first grade. So maybe even teaching one of these a day or one a week and then they practice them, or having a station where they practice them. You can call this the back scratcher, the scrolling up and down.
I think 2-finger clicking is like the same as the right click.
It is.
Yes, yeah. And then all caps on a Chromebook. There is no all caps key. So the only way to get all caps on a Chromebook is to click on the Alt and the magnifying glass key. So you might try to type something and see how that works, because that I think is going to be tricky.
That's one thing I would change, that have them scrap the magnifying glass and put cap on it.
I know, I don't understand why.
I don't either.
You don't.
Would you say the alt and what?
The search.
Magnifying glass.
Yeah. Both of them. Right. All once, and then you
And I don't know if you put like, I don't know if you could put stickers on certain keys, so then you could say yellow dot key, and then that would help.
You guys work in kindergarten more, but after they do this a few times, will they be more apt to remember it, or is it like?
It takes like. Some yes and some no. One
Okay.
girl, you're sure she didn't know how to.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
You know, you have to do something with Kelly 7 times because I can't believe it.
That's not right.
Well.
Okay,
So any of these little time savers, you guys can have it.
that's why I thought this would be good for you to take some practice. All right. We're not gonna worry about highlighting, because I don't think kindergarten and first grade are gonna be highlighting anything, but for you as a teacher, it is, if you wanna highlight something, if you highlight a word for being like, shh, quiet. That, put your Chromebook to sleep, everybody. Sorry, should have told you that. They hit the cue twice. Go to sleep, and then it takes it back to that screen where you can, yeah.
Sign out, power off, that might be easier. That's the other good thing with these Chromebook ports. There's one on this side, one on that side. Both of those can be used for charging. So you might see 2, they can charge it on this side or this side. I think only one would work for charging, we both do. USB-A, which is your typical like mouse, keyboard, that kind of thing. And then this side's got your power button and your volume buttons.
Yeah.
Again, if you press and hold the power button for just a few seconds, it'll give you options on the screen. Or you can just tap off the screen somewhere to go get rid of that. That's easy. You can also control the volume with the top row of keys. You'll see like speaker icon looking things on the top, very top row of the keyboard. You control the volume up there too. But yeah, the power button on the side, that's something you want to remember.
Shelby found a workaround to the all caps. You wanna talk about it?
I looked at, I don't like that, so I don't use the search bar. We never used the search bar in 5th grade, so you can switch it in your keyboard settings to where if you press the magnifying glass, it goes to caps lock.
Hey, I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
Keyboard shortcuts.
Do you wanna talk about how you did that?
Oh yeah, you go to settings, if you click on the bottom right-hand side, where it tells you the time and everything, in the top right corner.
So yeah, we need to talk about the settings
Yeah,
real quick.
and these are touchscreen too, so if you,
Yes.
the trackpad, if you're not a fan, like I'm not, just touch these
Yeah,
things.
I do like to use the touch.
But if you touch the time once, it'll bring up a little menu and you'll see the little setting gear wheel at the top right.
Yeah, so all of your settings are gonna be over on the right, and that's gonna control a lot of your, like, it'll tell you your battery life, and then your brightness you can control over there. You can also change your wallpaper.
See your Wi-Fi connection, make sure you're.
But if you're in settings and you go to device, you can click on keyboard and it has like the different shortcuts on there. And by search, I just click on the drop down box and put caps lock. Where when I click that search bar, caps lock pops up.
You can also search keyboard at the top. I think that pulls it up. Well, that's nice to know.
What does it do? I missed.
So that way, like caps lock, you don't have to hit Alt and the magnifying glass. You can just tell me to hit the magnifying glass and it turns on caps lock.
So now when you hit this search, because that's what the magnifying glass is going to search. Yeah. So now, when the kids want to hit caps lock, they can just hit the.
That one button just closes
Yeah.
instead of trying to hit Alt and that button.
Is that just closing?
It can, yeah.
I just see that as one of the keyboard.
I would probably let you,
So far.
yeah, let you.
And that's what it's like, we never use the search button, because we just, every time we search, I want you just in the bar and do that little wrong.
Okay, so we're gonna move on, because I wanna make sure we get through everything for you guys today. All right, so what I want you to do now is switch to tablet mode, and you're just going to take it and position it like that. I really think for kindergarten, you're gonna be in tablet mode most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just flip it so your keyboard is behind you, so go ahead and switch to tablet mode. And you can leave it up, or you can have them actually lay it down, it's really up to you.
I think the keyboard is disabled in tablet mode, right? So you don't have to worry about accidentally pressing keys.
Yeah, or you can do it like this, like Kelly just did hers. There's 3 options for tablet mode. You can do it like this, you can lay it flat, or you can make it like a tent.
Would we have been able to log in from it being like that?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
so we
like-
could just hide the keyboard forever.
technically, yeah.
Okay, that's what I did.
Yes.
That will work.
Hide the keyboard forever. All right, so then in tablet mode, there are what are called gestures, and the gestures kind of control how you move around. If you notice, right now, there's a line at the bottom, a very, oh, you got your shelf up, that's okay. So you can take your finger, there's 3 gestures that you'll have to learn, and they're a little tricky until you learn them, I think. And maybe not for you, but for me they were. A long swipe up from the bottom takes you to this home screen. If you're in something and you do a short swipe up, it'll show this, which is called the shelf. So if you want the kids to go down to their shelf, the district has pinned certain apps to the shelf. Do you know what's pinned there?
Chrome, maybe Gmail, and that's the thing, this kind of stuff varies by grade and by school as to what's pinned. We can push stuff out to certain grades at certain schools, so and that varies quite a bit.
And a long swipe up and hold will show all the apps that you have open. So if you know, kids get like 5 or 6 apps running at once. If you swipe it up and hold, it'll show you all their apps, and you can close some of them so that it runs better.
Some of these apps are pushed out automatically, like Cami, for example, they don't have to download, we have it pushed and forced to install. So Cami's one example that
So
you
if you
won't
wanna
have to
see
download.
like what apps are on there already, yeah, you can see them. And if you just swipe, you know, like swipe up, it'll go to the second page of apps.
It's very similar to the iPad with gestures, it's just they might be a little different.
So you're on the shelf, like, so if you go over. There it goes. You go to the side. And that's your shelf. So maybe practice kind of. It's like, you can stay. I know, I have to practice it, I do not really do that.
So if you long swipe up and hold it.
There it goes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I like, okay, practice that again. There you go. Practice those swipes, it's tricky at first. It's not tricky once open. If you have multiple, yeah. Like you have multiple things open on that screen. It shows us.
Yes, she's in. Okay. She finally grew up.
Watch that, so I like that, to do a short swipe, to show your shell, okay. Do a long swipe, that'll show your apps back. And then if you go, this again, there's the next. So the kids, I think,
Very intuitive.
Okay, so that's probably how you're gonna start your kids out for sure. All right, so we're gonna apply our knowledge here a little bit. Did Hank share that with you? That presentation, so go ahead and pull this presentation up, and if you go to this page, this is a hyperdoc.
Well, how are they gonna?
We're
They're
logged
logged
in
in
as
as
a
student.
student.
Oh, I didn't think about that, okay.
So,
Darn
yeah,
it, can we go into our Gmail? I can go into our Gmail.
you could, you would have to log in, but yes, you could sign in.
Okay.
But, no, actually, I wouldn't do that, I'd go ahead and like sign out, because when you sign into a Chromebook, by default, you sign into, Chrome, so Carter,
Right.
Bosch,
That is
former
another-
first graders now signed in on all of your devices, so to keep them uploading things into his drive, incidentally, they sign out.
Well, can I just share it with Carter, and then we can take it out of his drive later?
Yeah, that'll, yeah.
Okay, stay
that.
there. And I'm just gonna share it with Carter.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be easier. Because I want you to practice. This is a presentation that was put together by a Nadine Gilkison that I borrowed from her, which is great. And the only thing I don't like about it is she's built this for students, so she's put some emojis on there, and one of them is the poop emoji, which I really wanted to take off because I just don't like that at all, but I couldn't get it off because she also has a little video in there, which the video is like kids talking about how to do some of those things, and I really liked those little videos. I just wish she wouldn't have used that one emoji, but it's gonna be good for you, I think, to practice this. So let me share this with Carter.
16780.
Okay, I think if I type his name, it should pop up.
Yeah.
Is this an actual student?
Yes, yeah. Because so many of these backend systems talk, like Clever talks to Skyward and Clever talks to other programs, to create a student for testing would be a lot of headache.
Right.
So, and even then, it may not apply to real students when they actually sync. So to get a more real world test, we have to use this.
Okay, you're gonna go down to slide 21. Oh, Peyton is with us. She just popped in. Peyton, I can't see you, but hopefully you can hear us. Hi.
We're on YouTube, if not.
Okay. Well, it says there are 2 people in here. That was just me. She must be on YouTube. How is she logged in as Carter? Oh, Hank shared this with her. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. 21, this is slide 21. And then click on slide 21, and you have to be in present mode.
May not
And
show
it'll
up.
link you to
Yeah, because I did.
Yeah, because like it may not show up as like a new piece of mail. Whoever opened it first would have. If you go to your. Let's see.
It should be linked. Oh, actually, don't be in present mode, maybe. I think it's right. Yes, so click on it and it should open the link. Yes. Okay.
This is Carter's source.
Slide 21.
It's a hyperdoc down at the bottom where it says hyperdoc. Click on that. Yeah. And then click on that. Yeah, I clicked on the link. You have to double click it. Yeah, click on that and double click it.
click on the,
So we're going to slide 21 over here?
yes. Now, I know, that's my way to work. Yeah. There you go. And that's what I was
Slide
saying.
series.
And then here, I just want you individually to practice each of these things, so go to present.
Well, she wants us to open up
So go down to slide 3. And there's a little video about how to do that. And then let's see if you can, and I think you need to be in present mode to be able to do it. See it?
Is it the Chromebook simulator?
No.
No.
It's like 21, right?
Okay. Choose ending on 18. It's like it's got nothing under.
Hang on. Mine's opening something here.
It's 21, yeah.
Out of the art of learning.
Yeah,
Well, we can only view it, so we can't,
Oh, there it
we
is.
can't actually do anything to, we would have to request access.
Well, because I think it's somebody else.
I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, but I don't get it. This one. Okay, that should have worked, maybe it didn't.
I got myself out of this somehow, so.
Yeah, it's right.
Carrie, she's trying to.
It's got the video card. Well,
She's trying to fix it, so that.
okay.
Okay, I tell you what, I will work on fixing that while Jeff talks about adding apps to the Chromebook. So I'll pull that up here, because I must have with this, I don't have you as editors. I have you as just viewers, and
You
that's
sure
why.
that- You should have, well.
Yes, I do have that.
Can I just pull it
I
up
have,
on your?
well, I have a link to it here. So if you go back to, go to slide 22, and there's a
Can
link
I
to
say
it.
something like, this just, it was kind of like knocked me out of here, and then I just go back in here.
We can take, we can do it out there.
Because I have it here.
Teacher, teacher.
And I said, yeah, teacher, that's when I take this out to my kids, and I don't know that these are way, I will lose them.
Okay.
Right, so if you click on slide 22 now, this actually is a link to a document that Jeff put together to explain how you're going to get apps to your Chromebook for the kids to use. Because you're used to getting apps to your iPad, so it's a little bit different.
It's different, but it's also similar. So the first little bit of information, there's what's known as the Chrome Web Store and the Google Play Store. So the Chrome Web Store is more or less extensions, small programs, and that's what we call wide open, meaning you or your students can go in and add different extensions kind of at will. Now, if certain ones get to be a problem, we can block those so they can no longer be installed. But so that's the web store. There's also the Google Play Store. That's where you'll find most of your apps, like what you had on your iPad, is the Google Play Store. That's actually an icon in your dock down there. And by default, we have that. It's the opposite of the web store as far as our policies go. We have it locked down. So nothing will show up into this Google Play Store unless we say it can show up. Just like iPad, just like an app didn't show up in self-service unless you guys requested it. We push it out, then you guys can install it. So it's very similar on here. You guys, we can share this with you guys too, so you can look it over. So it'll work kind of like it has in the past, where if you guys want to, on teacher devices, look for apps that you think you might want, we can then push them out. And this is kind of funky, but not every app that's in this Google Play Store will work on Chromebooks, because the Play Store is more designed for Android. Now, Google owns Android, so they've got some of them to work on Chromebooks. A lot of them work on Chromebooks, but occasionally they don't. So that's something you'll want to test, and we'll push out more information over summer about that too. This is what the Play Store icon looks like. We're working on pinning that to that little shelf as one of those icons, so it'll just be there. I pushed out think it's called ABC, what was it that you had me? No,
Yeah.
no, it was, no,
Notes
it
and
was like
tracing, yes, the
writing,
ABC
tracing,
tracing.
alphabet, something. So if you guys can open up where all your apps are by swiping up from the bottom. Yep, and you should see that ABC. And then I've already installed it because I am also signed in as Carter. So, otherwise it would say, yeah, we're all using his account. It would say install there. For you, it'll just say open. You can open it if you want. But you'll notice those were the only apps that showed up in there. Because again, we have that locked down because otherwise students could be playing games and downloading whatever app they wanted that would be a distraction or not used for educational reasons. So that's why we have it locked down. But yeah, if you guys will just look for apps that you want, you
So
can.
is there like a lock screen thing on this?
Select one.
Lock screen.
Oh, yeah. Maybe, it may be that you get out of it like that.
So is there a self-serve on this and how do we find
It
that?
will pretty well be the Play Store, so if you swipe up,
Good job.
it's Play Store. And you guys are signed in as students, so that's why you're only seeing that. Another good way to look for apps is to just use the Google Chrome browser. And like, say you want a calculator app, search Google Chrome for calculator Chromebook app and kind of look at different ones. And you'll want to email your building help, so whether it's Debbie or Brandon or, no, they cover all three elementary. Debbie or Brandon can push these out. We've all done it up there, so we know how to do it. If they're not here, I can do it, Sean can do it, Jim, whoever. We can make it happen that day. And usually when we push them out, it happens in a matter of like 10 to 15 minutes at most. Once we push it out, you'll see it as an option in the Play Store. We can allow them to install it or we can force it to install. So if it's something like you want all your kids to have it, rather than them have to go to the Play Store and then click install and then open it, we can just force it to install so it shows up in that shelf or, the library of apps down there.
So what you wanna think about is in the past, you've used self-service. So self-service is really your Google Play Store now. So when you want kids to download an app, you're gonna say, instead of, you used to say go to self-service, now you're gonna say, click on the Google Play app. And then they'll see all the ones that have been installed by our district. And then they'll click that and it'll add it to their home screen. They only have to do that the first time and then it adds it to their home screen. So when you wanna request one, you might get with your team and say, okay, what do we want for first grade? What do we want for kindergarten to be in that Play Store? And they can just push out ones for kindergarten to all the kindergarten students in our district and first grade ones to all the first grade ones in the district so that you're not seeing the same apps as maybe fourth or fifth grade apps. And when you want that to happen, you're just gonna send an email.
Yeah.
To your JHL,
That's what I would-
JB help or MA help and say, we would like the following app.
Procedure, if an app costs on iPad, you would go to your administrator, say, hey, I have 15 kids, this app costs $2 a kid. Can I get approval to purchase this? If they approve it, we'll push it out, just like it was on iPads. I think right now, actually, how many, like, so I don't know if you guys are getting Chromebooks, and how many are getting Windows computers next year?
Which one do you want to start with?
Oh, okay. Which one of you are getting, how many of you are getting Chromebooks instead of Windows?
No.
You are getting a Chromebook? Okay, so if you're getting Windows and you want to look at apps, you can go to the Google Play website and look on there. You'll have a Chromebook, so you can just go. But that's one way you can look for apps on a non-Chromebook device is really just use Google, the Google Chrome browser, that is. That would be your best bet. I'm thinking right now too, that we had it so teachers can only see apps that we've allowed. I'm gonna have talk with Bill and Jim, see if we can change that. There's no reason to restrict what apps you guys can see, because you guys need to find the apps for your students. So it's kind of counterproductive to lock that down. So, but that's just Chromebooks. So Windows, search Google Chrome, just like search Google Play Store apps, whatever you're looking for. Kind of read reviews and then you can see more information about it.
And you can, a lot of the ones that you used on your iPad probably have an app for the Chromebook as well. And it's basically an Android app. So you can look in the Play Store, and if you want to start making those lists and go ahead and sending them to the help so that when day one comes or the first, I use these the first 9 weeks, I want to go ahead and get them on there. So they're there. Start sending those emails. They're working this summer.
Yeah, we're all here full time, so.
Wasn't there a Google Sheet or something that we had?
Yeah,
So I remember seeing like apps and like what we used and what
Yes.
we didn't use, yeah.
Oh, are you talking about like,
Which ones we wanted in self-service, the same kind of thing for the new thing, but we were all too busy to reply because of
Okay.
school.
Yeah.
So we didn't, so now we wish we would have.
It might be best to,
But it was, we probably,
I do it again.
Okay.
Or find that list.
I was saying, I think we just have what we had in the previous, I mean, we had.
Debbie Sarah had a huge list of them and
Okay.
I need to check it out.
Okay, I'll get with Debbie and see.
make sure, there's not always a Google Play equivalent, oftentimes there is, but there's not always. So, just be aware of that or search that.
I think we ended up finding though, most of them were,
Yeah.
there were only a
They would
couple.
be there if they were there before.
I'll make myself a note to ask her to make sure those get in there. Okay, and then I'll have her send you the.
She wasn't there, but.
Yeah.
But this is what
And Brandon has the others. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I was never gonna get my room, I was just like.
Gotcha, yeah, the-
Yeah.
So bear with us. If something doesn't work quite the way it should, or we want it to, we'll work on getting it to work that way. But again, this is a learning curve for everybody at Hedges, at all the schools, the techs. We'll get there. I think it'll be pretty good. But yeah, just bear with us because this is new. First time doing Chromebooks K-12 all the way up.
Okay, I did share that and made you editors. I shared it to Carter. And Peyton, I also shared it to you. So the art of learning to use the Chromebook. So now you should be able to get in there as an editor and be able to move things around. Don't put it in present mode, leave it in just the working mode, like you're working on it. And you should be able to get in there. But really why I wanted to send you that too is it does have the list of, on slide 12, is a nice list for you of some of the how to use your Chromebook. For you as a teacher, more so than for your students. A lot of this is going to be more for you to navigate.
When we go home and play with this, are we gonna be in Carter?
I'm going to go ahead and share it with all of you individually too.
Oh,
I'll have Hank do that. Can you type this one in for everybody on the list? The list, yes. Okay. And there should be editors.
Side note though, these Chromebooks have a really good battery life.
Yes, they do.
They're very good, and we can fix them in-house. It's not like iPads or MacBooks where we have to send them off, pay someone else to repair them, and then wait for the mail.
Get you
bring it in.
chargers.
We actually fix most of these problems in-house, so that'll help on the financial side and on the timely side, so something else to keep in mind. Do you know, have you been told how many spares will be in each room?
I thought they were gonna make sure at least one spare was in each room.
Okay, that'd be good, not two.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions so far, or any
Yeah.
concerns?
We are up to the, I'll let you play with that for a few minutes and then we'll all come back as a group and as a group maybe go through any final questions you have.
Can I ask more, how many of you guys use Savas, formerly Pearson? Did you guys use that? You did, okay, alright, never mind. I'm just gonna have a question, but you guys don't use it. Your kids use it?
What you just went over, Julie.
Science textbook or social
Solid
studies?
gave me there, 'cause I guess I'm not really sure.
She's already one.
Oh, I called it.
Like the login for it was just
That's
easier, we had the most people.
Oh,
They
really?
only use the online platform, if they were out, I think I'm gonna so you log on.
that way. I'm working on integrating that with Clever or with Google Classroom. Like just sign in Google, I know.
It was a login process for it, so we didn't use it as much.
So you feel like if it was an easier login process,
If you could use it.
that's what I'm working on.
I need to
It's a lot of projects.
just show me.
We realize a lot of these devices are reading your guys too, so don't hesitate to ask questions.
Okay. Work around, okay. Now, leave it in this mode. Around. Okay. Those little videos are cute too, because they have kids.
You have a list of who else
I
has
call it
somebody.
new. What you want the one? Oh, the first, yeah.
I refreshed and clicked the.
What's a new?
Okay.
You have to be in editing mode in order to be able to move.
Oh, like the video.
When you do a screenshot, will it save to their Google Drive or?
It just saves to the download. That's it.
It doesn't save to their Google Drive. Yeah, it saves actually to this. So yeah.
It might be a setting change, actually, I don't know.
Oh, you. I don't know if it would ever save to their Google Drive.
I'm moving it to.
Can you Google that? Yeah, you're probably right.
What?
You can probably say no. Chromebook screenshots saved to Google Drive. We're trying to determine if you can edit a setting to change where screenshots are saved. If it'll save just to downloads or to Google Drive. If it's saved to downloads, it'd be easy to just upload it.
How to change where screenshots are saved on Chromebooks,
Yeah, pretty much.
This. Control lines.
downloads folder.
Okay, yeah, how to reset, but is that the only
I
option?
guess you have to use the keyboard.
Hey, I didn't,
Change. Well,
no, okay, that's like if you had an SD card plugged in. And we didn't know if it could by default save the screenshot to their drive. But if it saved the screenshot straight to their, I don't know, maybe it would be very organized.
well, here, let me try it right now.
Yeah, you can- to my knowledge, it just saves to the download, but I
Where's the
don't know for
settings?
sure.
It's right here.
I was missing. I changed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like that, is that what you mean? And then you make it down, yeah, like that. Okay.
Oh, hey, Jeff, I think you can do it, but it says you're not changing where screenshots go, you're changing where downloads go.
Okay.
So would that be,
That's probably not. Well, I don't know a whole lot, but.
Well, I'll be ready once I get to my room.
Sarah's still in here or? I don't know, I know it's a domino.
Well, I have all my stuff just free outside of my room, so Jordan could do it, so Kristen could do it in her office. So Jordan could put all her stuff in my room, myself, and then I just have, I told Jordan to resize, and they would just text me and Sarah's out, so I'm gonna go check. I know she's on the last one, she's the one that showed it, so.
He said you could say where screenshots go, but it doesn't do just screenshots, it does all downloads.
So any download or screenshot would either save to downloads or all of that will save to
It
drive.
does say all files in this folder are automatically backed up to Google Drive. So I think it
Okay,
goes
so
both.
take a screenshot real quick.
There's a screenshot already on it.
Where'd it go?
It downloads, but the downloads is in the Google Drive.
So it does both.
The other thing that the kids, I like to use with kindergarten, first grade, if you go to your apps,
Under desktop.
there's the camera app. And when they record
Are you
themselves,
signed in on here?
to make a little video of them reading or saying their sight words, things like that, they really like that camera app, and they learn how to use it pretty quickly. And that's just the camera. If you like slide up and go to your apps, you should see a camera. You click on it, it's just gonna bring the camera right up, and just record something real quick, and then it'll save it to your downloads, and so that's how you can go and, so you don't just say, hello. And then I'm gonna show you how to get to your downloads to see where it's saving things like those screenshots and videos. Oh,
Hank, what's it
yeah, you have to flip it over, so the camera is actually on the keyboard.
Download?
So if you do want them to record, yeah, it's on the bottom right on some of them.
There it is.
have two.
Okay, so the screenshots do automatic, they save to the downloads on there, but then they're also in their Google Drive.
Really?
Well, they're nested under my drive, and then he took a screenshot on your account.
Oh, wow. I didn't
Oh, wait,
know
that's not
there's
it.
See that circle on the bottom?
That's from
Oh,
2015. Where's it saved? Hold on, maybe. No, I don't know if it did, but.
Okay, and to get to your downloads, what is the easiest way, Jeff, for them to get to their downloads?
You can, in the
Is it
search,
under- There's an app called Files, yes. Open up the app called Files, and if you recorded something or took a screenshot, you should see downloads in there.
That sounds like something.
Oh, does it?
Have you ever heard of Google Tone? Google Tone?
No.
It's like where if they have it installed as an extension and the kids have it installed, if they're up there and they want a kid to go to a certain website, they click Google Tone, it plays this audio, and that website will show up on all those devices. I don't know if that was something that would be like convenient for them.
Demonstrate that?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it possible?
No. Yeah, because we were just talking like, we don't know how much we're gonna do Google Classroom if we're not virtual.
Right.
But I was like, but it's a place where if I want like everybody to go to a link,
Right.
they can get to that, but if this.
Last year we were told we
all
had to use Google Classroom today, and that's the biggest thing.
To ask Dr. Thompson that. I didn't realize that we weren't even going to do it for snow days. I thought snow days would still pop.
Control it here, it says.
So we met with him.
Is that what they just
Oh,
said?
I think it was like. We were like, when I looked at each other, we're like, okay, meeting's over. I guess we didn't need to have that meeting. Nobody ever told us. The virtual coach.
It was in the, I was in the.
I think these have to have it
Okay, I
installed.
know. I'm thinking, remember that not connected to a building?
Oh, that's too bad you gotta go on that.
Did
I
you,
get
what
it
were you,
directly from.
what were you saying about we're not using virtual snow days unless we're accessible?
We're gonna use every snow day. I'm not on FAC anymore, somebody else may know firsthand, but I just read the minutes. And we will use all the built-in snow days to make up snow days as long as we have built-in snow days. Should we run out of those because of excessive snow, then we can do virtual snow days.
Like this past year, we would have run out probably. I mean, I know we did virtual, but the whole time, we probably would have run out. That could be a lot. Okay.
So we do need to.
It was just too, inconsistent in terms of instruction.
So the only way, I'll quote my brother, the only way to make a big school is with big school.
Yeah, that works.
It popped up.
Is it for you too? I didn't know. I didn't know if you had to have the
And I
extension.
don't know, it popped up down here and I tried to click on it.
Oh, no, I think it should open up like in the Chrome browser, so as long as they have Chrome open,
Oh, yep.
Does anything pop up on yours? Mine pops up at the bottom right, when I tap on it. Did yours pop up?
Yeah.
Oh, so the kids don't even, oh, wait, okay, that's why, right.
They
I was
just
like,
have
what?
to tap on that little thing in the corner.
But that's 'cause
I've
I-
never heard of that.
Yeah, it's cool, yeah, it's pretty nifty. Well, I was wondering why it showed up on there, like, you guys don't have the extension installed, but we're all signed in as Carter.
Right.
I added it, so it pushed all you. So if we push, the Google Tone to all students, you guys wanna use it, you guys as teachers can just go to the Chrome web store, search Google Tone as the extension.
Can you show us?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
that again, so begin, Jeff.
Extension. Went to Chrome store, then I just got to by Google searching for Chrome web store. And then extension. Everything, it's actually on Google, and then that will add it
Okay,
to
now go to
yours.
Google Tone and show us how you use it. Sorry, I'm getting bossy, my mom tells me I'm online.
No, you're right, though. So, all the extensions are, this varies by user, but the extension are usually in this little puzzle looking guy. Some of them will show up beside it. So if I click on that, Google Tone's right there.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah. And it plays like a unique audio. It's kind of like QR code, but for audio.
Will you pick a different website, like do like ABC, yeah? Okay, and you just click on the there and click Google Tone.
Then it should show up at your bottom right hand corner.
Oh,
So rather than have a kid like go and type in a full URL, you
Right.
just do that and boom, and tell them, hey, click bottom right hand corner. And that might be a time to.
That was pretty nifty.
Yeah, it's a Google's good.
Google's good. Okay, we are at exactly 9 o'clock, so we are finished. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? What we,
So my question is, last year when we did McGraw-Hill reading, and then when we got to make that work with Google Classroom, because I assigned it in Google Classroom, when they got to the CRAD page, they had to close McGraw-Hill.
I don't think
Go to
it,
Google Classroom, it's not gonna be.
I don't think so, no. So that, most of that issue stemmed from iPads and Apple and not being able to change default apps. So no, the workflow for this should be if you put in Google Classroom, they go to classroom.google.com or, you know.
Oh, there'll be an icon for them attached.
Yeah.
They're
They
just
click on the
there,
assignment to
and I don't
show.
even need to go to McGraw, they don't even need to go to McGraw-Hill. They
Let me
just go-
double
it's
check
like in
that.
Classroom, they just go in Classroom.
Yeah,
and they're-
let me
they should be able to, if they don't have to test it maybe.
Well, we still got a lot of those Google classes in here.
And we called Bill, he said that you could take these Chromebooks if you would like to park, I know you have one. There are chargers back here. If you take it, I just need to write down, your name if you have one and a charger. But I do think it would be beneficial for you to play with them for your kids. And if there aren't any more questions, I mean, you can sit and play and chat and do what you would like, but email us if you have any questions.
Do you have a student name I can try that with? Like, if you give me the name of a student, I can log in as them.
Like
On a
last
Chromebook.
year.
Yeah, this last year,
Okay,
yeah.
Avery. Avery,
Turn this off.
Yeah.
And then once that's together, you'll hear it.
Yeah, so that video will go up on